always good at putting a level-headed review on things. What was your assessment of Justin's play on Sunday, and good, bad, otherwise? What was your reaction?
Yeah, a little bit of both. He did a lot of nice things. Obviously, he made some plays that were miraculous. I mean, they were pretty unbelievable. But there's still, we got to make sure we keep eliminating those few plays in the game that, the interception that got called back. That's a play you just got to throw it away and move on to the next down. And but there's plenty of good plays in there that he's starting to get more comfortable with everything. Like we talk about that every week. He's getting more and more comfortable each and every week. So, we just got to keep building on that.
You guys have been so good at the end of the first half in getting points. At the end of games, what needs to happen for that to click a little more?
Yeah, I mean, that's felt like the two real opportunities, I guess three real opportunities. One, we drove all the way down, we just didn't put it in. The other one, we were moving pretty good, had the turnover. This week, we, didn't finish that fourth down maybe the way we wanted to. And so it's about executing like anything else. The guys are getting better executing, and then, when it comes down to those moments, not usually, it always is about the players, and they got to make those opportunities and take advantage of them. And they've been doing a great job of executing and giving us a chance. So that's all you can ask for.
You've been pretty steadfast in your belief, even early in the season, about Justin's improvement and seeing what you've seen behind the scenes. What's it like from your seat to see proof of it and to see the continued growth on the field?
Yeah, I think my proof is different than your guys' proof and most people's proof. I think I just settle in on that, and it's just it's a mindset. It's the way we go to work every single day and get better every single day. So that's it. There's not, just because the stats say one thing, that doesn't, you have to avoid that. When you're in the phase that we're in and we're trying to grow and get better every day, become something special, you have to ignore the good and the bad when you're talking about stuff that gets reported rather than what is real.
The way that you guys have been using Justin Fields since the mini bye, do you think that that it's sustainable and that this is what he is, or this is what you're doing now to make him comfortable?
Oh no, I think it's I said last week, it's not a dramatic change. I think the difference that you see, like the 61-yard run, that's a 3rd and 4 that we called a pass play, and it became what it is. So we didn't call a different play there than we did a couple weeks ago. I think what you're seeing is just somebody that's more comfortable in calling a play, more comfortable in understanding what the play means. So you're able to do more things, and that's kind of with not just him. That's everybody in the group. I mean, I say it all the time. Our receivers and tight ends, they have a demand on them to align correctly, to handle their assignment correctly is not an easy job. And those guys are doing a great job of giving not just Justin, but everybody that's touching the ball an opportunity to get some explosives. So I think it's just a combination of everybody, doing their job. And then you have the quarterback, when he's feeling comfortable with what's actually going on around him, the confidence obviously grows.
A lot of big running threats at quarterbacks this year. Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Justin, they're getting blitzed a lot more. It feels like the last couple of weeks, Justin's been really good against the blitz. What do you attribute that to?
Just his preparation, honestly. That's, when we got here and started meeting in April, that was a focus of ours to make sure that we were prepared for and could handle, his assignment within the protection. And he's such a smart guy, and he works so hard at it that he's been able to, avoid some situations. Then obviously there's some times we're wrong, and he makes it right too with his athleticism too. So that part of it obviously makes it much better for us.
How pleased have you been with the progress and the growth that they've had last month or so?
Yeah, no, they're part of, like you said, they're a part of that whole group. I think, it's all 11 on the field, and I know there's more than 11 that have been playing for us, but just getting comfortable with what our system's asking of them. Their preparation during the week has been awesome. I mean, that was a really good walkthrough we just went through. The guys are getting it. They're sharp. They're on the same page. The communication is really good. So we just got to make sure we keep building on that, because that's really when things have gone wrong, throughout this entire season, even this past game, it's really been from a lack of communication or understanding of each other. And so that just grows as you play more and more football together. So having those guys being able to be around each other, Sam getting all these reps at center and being able to kind of set the stage for us and take control, that's all been really good for us.
In the moment, what was your reaction as the 61-yard touchdown run was on?
Honestly, it was like like, holy cow, with like not that type of talk. And that was, it was a pretty unbelievable play. As you review the film, he probably should have just been a 15 or 20-yard completion to Mooney. Just the way he slid up in the pocket, want to see him keep his shoulders a little bit more perpendicular to the line of scrimmage and rip the ball. But he was headed there. He just got there just a tick late because he squared his shoulders, and then it turned into like an unbelievable play after that. But yeah, once he got to a certain point, and I saw Mooney in the position to be able to cut the guy off, I was like, there's no way that anybody's catching that guy. So it was pretty cool.
Have you noticed a difference in him as far as just settling in now that he's had some success, maybe just a little bit?
Oh, this is an honest statement. Every game, from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, yes. The answer is yes. It's natural. It's the way he works and the mindset he has, the competitor that he is. He's just gotten more comfortable, and so we still have a long way to go, though.
What kind of a difference did Chase Claypool make? Just one game, limited time, but what did you say?
Yeah, no, what's pretty cool about him is, like, he loves ball. And so, like, him coming in and learning all the stuff that he did, I mean, he probably played more than I thought he was going to be capable of playing. So that part of it just kind of speaks to the kind of guy he is. I mean, to say I have a good feel for the type of player he is yet, that's not realistic. But I love the type of guy he is and teammate he is and how he's, one of my favorite clips from the whole game was the Cole's touchdown in the corner. 4 receivers ran off the bench and went to celebrate with him. And I just thought that was, and he was one of those 4. And I thought that just really showed, the kind of team that we're trying to build.
I think that's probably what's so jarring to some fans when they see Chase Claypool just gets here. He's been here 5 seconds and he's already playing. And Halas has been here, the entire last couple months, and he was a healthy scratch. Like, how can you explain, like, that situation?
Well, I think it's just, we're trying to figure not just Halas or just Chase. We're trying to figure a lot of things out there. I mean, I think you guys have seen a lot of different combinations from a lot of different positions. So I think that's just part of it. We're trying to figure out, what each guy can do. And then on top of it, you have to play in a special team. So which, that part of it goes into as well. So you can't have 6 or 7 receivers up, which we beg for each week. So we see if we can get that done this week.
As you figure out the combinations, has Riley Reif played to a level where you want to see him remain in the starting position at right tackle?
No, I think he's done a really nice job. I think it kind of played to his benefit probably a little bit to kind of how it was a slow build to get him back ready to play some ball. And then what's most cool about him is just, again, kind of the same thing I just said, like the leadership part of it and like the ball that he's played and the way how much he loves football, like it's just contagious. And so that part of it's been really cool. And yeah, you love making sure that he's a part of the plan in some way somehow.
Luke, you talked a couple weeks ago about really having fun watching Cole when he's got the ball in his hands. So how much fun did you have putting in that play for him, and what was your assessment of the way he operated with the ball in his hand this week?
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was that was a play that it could have went to him, it could have went to KB. So I was excited for either guy to get that ball. So that was pretty cool. But no, I think that's just who he is. Like I said, like when he has that ball in his hand, it's like a switch. He just becomes this violent guy. And he caught. Remember the one he had on the sideline? He caught it for like a 2 or 3 yard, and then he trucked the guy and got the first down on the sideline. Like all those types of plays have just been really cool part of his game and seeing that growth from him.
Knowing Justin's personality the way you do you think it affects him at all that kind of became a national story this week, and that people are going to, settle in Sunday and be like, okay, what now?
Hopefully, the environment has remained consistent to where I'm sure anybody feels whatever they feel. But hopefully the environment has remained consistent to where we are about getting better every single day, and that no, we're not in our room gloating about it, or nor were we. And when everybody else was saying the other direction, what we're talking about, we're a pretty focused group, and he's the center of that focus for sure.
And what you know about him is that he will stay committed to that process. Is that a reflection of like that you guys are also doing that and not getting caught up in like, wow, he can do all these wonderful things, just staying on the course that you're on?
I hope so, but I think it speaks more to him than it does to anything else. The kind of guy that he is, the approach that he's had from day one, and the kind of kid he is, the kind of competitor he is. Like he wants to be the best, and there's nothing else that he wants more to win is than to bring some W's to this football team.
A lot of teams talk about self-scouting, looking in the mirror and making changes mid-season, but not all teams are successful at doing that. What was it about your process during the mini-bye that did allow you to take a step forward on offense?
I just don't want to overreact to like that, because it's not, like, we have had a process in this and put in place, and I feel really good about how we've stayed committed to the process. And then, you know, scoring points makes everybody feel like we're reaping the rewards of that, right? But I just feel like the execution has gotten better since day one. Every game it's just gotten a little better. And so that's more about what we're about and what we're trying to get than, you know, there was no magic potion, right? This isn't like Space Jam, you're drinking Michael Jordan's, you know, special water or whatever, right? This is a work you put in back in April all the way through now, and the guys are just doing a really good job of buying into our philosophy of our play style and the way we want to play the game and being the most physical football team on the field. And so that's what we're staying committed to that.
Luke, what did you learn in Green Bay about building on success now that you've had it? I mean, as far as anticipating what the team's going to do, the way to coach it, is there anything in particular you learned in those years with a good offense about not just establishing success, but building on it?
No, I think, you know, something that just has always resonated with me that Mike McCarthy used to say to us all the time is that it's way harder to handle the success than it is to handle adversity. And when you have what appears to be other people thinking you have success, so then now people are telling you they love you, pat you on the back, remaining humble and staying focused on your job and making sure you stay true to what you believe in, what your philosophies are, and the way you want to play, the kind of man you want to be, and the kind of football team you want to be. And so we have to remain unwavered to that and stay focused on our purpose. And I think the guys have done a good job to this point. Thanks, guys.
Can't be.
Given up 10 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, what is your assessment of kind of the last couple weeks and what that does for where you're headed?
Yeah, tough when you give up that many points in that short of a period, especially when early on you were, or we were, eliminating touchdowns and down on points. But I'm trying not to overreact to 2 ball games and still cognizant of what we're trying to get done, where we're going. So the idea that, hey, you can't give up points, but still keep in the back of my mind that we're still improving, we're still finding our identity, and we're still sticking to the process of the big thing is making sure that guys are hustling, guys are executing, and I take away that we have to execute better.
Do you feel like you're developing a defense? Do you feel like you're just developing these guys at this point?
No. That not at all. Our job is to win ball games still, but with that, you still want to make sure that you're improving each week, and you just don't want to look at it and go, hey, since you didn't win ball games or since you didn't have a stellar performance, that there's nothing good about the performance. You want to take away, hey, where guys played well, where they're improving, and you may not see it in terms of maybe the production or the stat line or the end-all result, but you still want to look at it and go, hey, what things did you do well, what things can you build on, and where do you need to improve?
How much is the lack of a consistent pass rush an issue, and how do you fix that midseason?
Yeah, just like we did when we had the mini bye, you look at, hey, where you can get better, and you look at who you have, and it's not just player-driven. Some of it is coordinator-driven. You know, I'm responsible for, hey, the pass rush, and I have to be creative about, hey, putting guys in position to accentuate what they do well, and then some places I need to be more aggressive. Some places I need to, hey, let the guys rush and mix up, hey, the looks that we're giving people. And so it's not or, I think it's and, it's both.
Do you wish you would have done differently last week? Do you wish you would have blitzed more? I mean, do you wish you would have, we talked about that.
Yeah.
You don't want us to let Tua sit back there and pat the football. But
Yeah. No, you know what? Every week, win or lose, there are always things that I take away and go, hey, this is how I can improve. I think that's part of the process of making sure that, hey, when we do well, you still want to go, hey, where can you improve? Because each week people catch up to you. They look at what you're doing. They look at, hey, how you're doing it. So there are a lot of things I'd take back and do differently. Each call, if it's not successful, you go, hey, what could we have done better to be successful? And sometimes it's just, hey, execution. hey, we need to make sure that we communicate better. Sometimes I go, gosh, I should have made another call, or so it's both.
So was some of the reason behind the not blitzing because of the receivers, or Nick said in the locker room yesterday, like, we had a lot of young guys on defense now, it's hard to adjust when they give us a look that we're not ready for, and we need to adjust on the fly. So is there a little bit of both of those things?
Yeah, we do have young guys, but I'm not going to put that on, hey, young guys, because they're professionals too, and they're growing. So it's still both, that sometimes you don't want to overload the guys that don't have a lot of reps under their belt. You want to let them play. You want to let them develop. You want to let them do what they do well. And sometimes it's, hey, the communication part, you have to be all on the same page, and so you don't throw too much on them in terms of, hey, some of the blitzes are, you have to formation adjust, you have to do some different things if you put some designer blitzes in, and so it's still both, and you just don't want to have guys, hey, coming from everywhere. That's not what we do for the most part. You still want to let guys, hey, get in a four-man rush and let them rush, and some of it is you have to give credit to Miami. They have some dynamic players on that side of the defense or offense that you have to account for. So it's still both.
Philosophically, I mean, this defense, Matt has been running this, and you guys have been running it since Dallas days, and then through Indy too. And he said yesterday that ideally you want to get pressure, especially on third down with your standard rush. Why does it work sometimes versus it not working, guys being able to get home other times?
Sometimes they have the offensive line is a good offensive line, and they turn towards some guys. Sometimes they keep backs in. Sometimes you have to be aware that you can't be so ultra aggressive, because the quarterback is a good enough athlete that if you don't hit it right in terms of your rush, that he can get out. So you have to assign a guy to the quarterback, and then sometimes it's just experience. That guys are 1 week they may not be getting home like they should. So for me, it's, hey, I have to mix up the looks. I got to bring pressure sometimes so that they're not just sitting back with 5-on-4 all the time. And so each week it's a different challenge.
Did anyone stand out to you last week as far as just taking a step forward?
Yeah, Sanborn. First start, didn't look, he looked like he belonged, didn't have errors, tackled well, ran around well, so you come out of that ball game going, okay, step forward, now let's take one more step forward. So that's the one that comes to mind when you have a guy that, hey, first start in the NFL, and he looks like he belongs.
After the game, Matt said that he really liked Sanborn's run, the way he fit up and made tackles in the run. On pass plays, where would you like to see him get better, or how?
Just the quick twitch part, getting back to his spot, seeing the quarterback and go ahead and go. Sometimes when you have a rookie guy, it's, hey, I want to be perfect. I want to please the coach. Nope, just go out and play. So he did a nice job at his spot. Nick did a nice job at his spot, because we moved him from, hey, playing Mike since he's gotten here, and then we moved him to Will, and so he did a nice job too. I don't know if you just pleased with both of those guys being in different spots and still functioning at a high level.
What do you like about Nick at the Will spot?
Yeah, Nick has some speed to him. Nick has some playmaking ability to him. So that is the playmaking position in the defense. So I like that part where he was. You saw that the one play where he turned and ran and got the ball out with a deep over. Amazing play, good play, a play that we repped, a play that the linebackers coach, Coach Gonzo, went over with him and ultimately made the play that he was supposed to make. We just want to see him do that more consistently.
When you look at the Lions, what strikes you about St. Brown's skill set and what he does as a receiver?
Yeah, fast, productive, going vertical. I know they've had some guys injured and mixed those guys up, but no matter who's in or who's out, he's been productive with the ball in his hands, and you can see that they like him, because when They find different ways to get him the ball. They throw verticals to him. They some in and out option routes, and then when they need to, they jet sweeps. They get the ball in his hands and try to get him on the edge. So he's a guy that you have to account for in terms of his speed.
His offense is one of the most prolific earlier in the season. It's kind of cooled off lately. What's been the big difference for you when you look at that?
Yeah, I wouldn't. For me, not buying into it's cooled off. Last week they're still coming around, and early on, it was kind of a two-headed monster. They were running the football very well. Swift is back. He's a dynamic player. He's fast. He can run. Big plays in the run. He has good hands. He's got a full complement of the route tree. Third down, they like to get the ball to him, get the ball in his hands, and the underneath running routes, first and second down, same thing. He'll get on your edges quick. So I wouldn't say cool off. That's from red hot to hot.
They haven't put up as many points.
Yeah, but they're finding ways to win ball games, which is a good thing. And so I'm not gonna look at it as, hey, cooled off or going this way, maybe from this to this. So yeah.
On the other side of the ball, I'm curious, when you watch Justin Fields do what he's doing as a defensive coordinator, what are you thinking about seeing that, knowing what that's doing to other opposing defensive coordinators? You'll love it. Absolutely.
Love what they're doing. Love that they're improving. Love that, when you're a team, you look at, hey, what you can do as a team offensively, defensively, special teams. So it's a bright spot. It gives you a shot of adrenaline in your arm to say, hey, our offense is scoring that many points. Defense, let's go. Love everything about it. And you know what? I would say outside of the building, people would go, man, that's a surprise. Inside of the building, we would go, nope. If you see the way he works, you see the way he goes about his business, you see the way what he does in practice, you go, that's to be expected. It was just a matter of time before it showed. One thing that we would say that the last thing that you see is, a prophet. And so that was coming. Everybody in the building knew that was coming. It's just a matter of when.
And it seems like sometimes a linebacker in the middle can just make the plays that come to him, or he's supposed to make and get double-digit tackles. Was there anything Sanborn did above that was an indicator to you that, hey, there's something to work with here, that, there's...
Yeah, there was a play, it was a bounce, outside running play where Nick spilled it and he was over the top and he made it. Good play, and just like we designed it, just like you'd put it. So we go, those are plays that we put in our clinic book or our clinic tape. And so he had one of those that you go, yeah, that's what we wanted him to do, and that's what he did, and that's what we practiced. Ultimately, you want to see that a guy sees it on tape, hey, this is the play, you do it in practice, and then it shows up in the ball game, and you go, there it is. And so you just want to see that happens on a consistent basis, and I think it will.
So is that just like the ability to learn or anticipation, or what exactly is the trait that you like about
football player? The number one job of a linebacker is just hit the ball. And so find the ball, hit the ball. And so that's the number one job, and he did that last week. So that's a trait that he has, a fast trigger, sees it well, and goes and gets it.
Coach, one last thing about Nick. My understanding is that even when Roquan was here, they were kind of splitting the green dot responsibilities, kind of going in and out. What went into that decision is that just the position he plays now that he's moved to Will? Is it, what have you seen out of him as a guy that's relaying the calls on the field?
Yeah, that he relays them correctly, that he knows the defense, and so I can start the call, he can finish the call. That helps out a lot when you have a smart guy like that. When I'm starting the call, he goes, okay, boom, and he gives it to him before it comes out of my mouth. And a guy that can problem solve, so that if the offense goes fast, he goes, hey, I know what coach is going to call. I know what we practice. I know what the call sheet looks like. Boom, the guys have it, and that helps out tremendously because we're on the same page, and when we're on the same page, that means he's relaying that message to the defense, and then they can get in and out of the huddle, look at the offense, diagnose all the keys and tips that we give them, and then ultimately they play much faster, much better.
Thanks, everyone.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, guys. How you doing? Good. Go ahead.
On the blind front, were you able to figure out maybe a simple answer, what happened with Khalil there and what went wrong with his technique there?
Yeah, it's just a missed assignment. Yeah, we gotta stay inside out on it. Just a missed assignment. But everybody's been good in meetings. We had good practice yesterday, and I think the guys are ready to get back out there and compete.
With Khalil, I mean, what's it like in the sideline after that play, understanding, you know, a young player and trying to establish himself, and as a coach trying to pick him up off that?
Yeah, I think nobody works harder in this building than him, and he's an outstanding person. Obviously, you guys saw what happened. So, I mean, really there's not much to add on what happened, other than that guy was great on the sideline. He's a great teammate, working his tail off, and I think I'm excited to see him bounce back. I really am.
Trenton Gill come talk to you about your comments last week? Did he check in with you on you saying the future son-in-law material?
Oh, he did not. I don't even know if he watches that stuff. He's always watching film, I can tell you that. So I don't even know if he has time to watch press conferences. He's always up there. Our office, his meeting room is by our office, and he's always up there. So excited that he was back up there again this week and really pumped up to play again.
How did you see him react in his next two punts after the block? I mean, I know the block wasn't his fault, but did you see any change just in the way his operation at all?
Yeah, I didn't. And that's the good thing that you want to see. Like, I've been on sidelines before when something happens to a punter and he doesn't give you the same look, and you never want that as a coach. He looked just like he always looks, like he's ready to compete. So that was awesome. He was phenomenal, and he's a great teammate. And we'll see how he does this week. He's excited to go. I mean, he had a great day yesterday. He's fired up to play. I can tell you that.
After the game, Matt Eberflus said that for Halas, the deciding factor was special teams, just because of the numbers game that you have to play with receivers, for why he was inactive last week. How do you, for where he's at right now, he's not seeing the field on special teams, not seeing the field on offense. How do you keep someone's morale up so it doesn't become kind of a downslide for him where he doesn't feel like he's ever going to get back out there?
Yeah, well, I think that's a good question. I think that him personally as a pro, like all pros, have to realize that you're pros, and it's up to you to make sure that you keep your morale where it's supposed to be. But we have a phenomenal culture here. It's one of the best cultures I've ever been around, so the morale is up. Guys are excited. This team is growing. I know the results aren't always what everybody wants every time, but I see a lot of growth in this team. He can see that, and he just got to keep competing. And this is a competitive business. It's a high-performance business. And one thing that all high-performance people have in common is they got to compete. They got to fight. They got to scratch. They got to claw. They got to have an urgency to get better, which he has. So he'll just keep competing and keep hunting. That's what he's got to keep doing. And that's never going to change either, no matter who. There's a lot of competition in that room, which is a good thing. Sorry, Larry. Go ahead.
Have you seen any change in his attitude in practice? Has he been the same? Has he been even more determined? How would you kind of define that?
Yeah, I think his attitude is probably more determined. Yeah, I haven't seen anything negative. He's always working hard, always asking what he can do to get better. So he just got to compete. I mean, they got some guys in there, and that's a good thing. And hopefully we'll add more guys everywhere. That's what you want. The teams I've been on have been really good. There's a lot of competition, and the guy can never get comfortable. God knows if he doesn't make a play, then the next guy's going to make it. So I think that's how you get your team better. And I think Ryan and his staff have done a phenomenal job at that since we've gotten here. They're awesome at that.
Elijah Hicks made that tackle on the kickoff in the fourth quarter, I believe. What's he brought to your group, and how have you kind of seen him progress since camp?
Yeah, I've seen, that's a great question. I've seen Elijah. He's another form of growth, what we were talking about. He's even more and more confident than he was when he stepped in, and now he's he's able to decipher things before they happen. He's able to call things out now, which is a credit to him because he's studying more. He's doing a lot more than he's done in the past. I just see him getting more and more comfortable. For him to make that play from the spot he made that play, you got to have an extreme amount of confidence to go do that. And some people wait back on that particular play in the position he was playing, and he didn't. He tackled that ball inside the 18-yard line, which was phenomenal by him. I'm really excited about that kid. He's like I said before, he's a ball of energy. He's going to be a good one. I believe he's going to be a really good one.
Do you have fun watching Justin? I
Yeah.
know you're worried about other stuff, but just being in the moment there, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I will tell you, I don't get a chance to coach Justin a lot other than on hurry-up field goal. It's the only time I talk to him about things, but he's always got a comment about special teams. He cares about it, and it is fun watching him. I mean, that's unbelievable what he's been able to do, and I'm so happy for him, and he's deserving of everything he gets, and everybody's rallying behind him, and we can't wait to see him play again this week.
If you were promised good health, could he be a kick returner, punt returner?
That's not happening. That's not happening. He probably can do anything he wanted to do. I mean, that kid's a heck of an athlete, and I think Luke and his staff and all those guys are doing a phenomenal job with him.